All right, we're ready.
Great. Well, good morning. Thank you for the opportunity here today to discuss the commencement of the City of Lacey's accountability audit. I know we were just here exiting the financial and single audit, but again, my name is Paul Griswold. I'm serving as the audit supervisor, and joining me today is Keisha Rhodes, who's serving as the lead auditor for this year's accountability audit. And so our goal today is just to share information related to the current audit, as well as some resources that can be of assistance to your government. I do have the PowerPoint. Because we already had the financial and single audit entrance, I'm not going to go through like all those additional resources, but they're included in that entrance agenda. So this will be a pretty quick and short meeting today. And so I'm pretty sure that we all know everyone here. So I don't know if we need to do introductions for the city. But before we get started, I always like to remind everyone that we do have the PowerPoint, but we also have that entrance agenda that basically goes hand in hand. If you have any questions about that entrance agenda, just let me know and we can definitely go through that stuff. So with that, I will go ahead and get started. And this takes me a few moments to orient to Zoom and sharing and figuring out where my video goes. so So the Office of the Washington State Auditor, we are tasked with being the auditor of all public funds. And so as such, we're responsible for auditing all state and local governments. And so our office has about 400 professionals located around the state, and we conduct right around 2,500 audits each year. So on this slide, we just have showing the various types of audits that we complete, including the accountability audit, which is what we're completing for the city this year. And so the purpose of an accountability audit is to determine whether the city has complied with state laws, contracts, grant agreements, as well as your own policies and procedures. And then this audit will also look at whether, in general, the city has adequate controls or procedures in place to ensure public funds are properly safeguarded. So it's a pretty high-level overview of the accountability audit. I'm going to turn over to Keisha. She's going to go into more detail about the specific accountability audit and the areas we're going to look at.
Hello. So we will conduct an accountability audit that will cover the period of January 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2023. For this audit, we utilize a risk-based audit approach in selecting areas for further review. As part of this process, we completed a number of audit planning steps that included conducting risk assessments with key members of the city, reviewing meeting minutes of the governing body, conducting analytical procedures, reviewing prior audit results, and assessing areas of common risk for cities across the state. Based on these planning procedures performed, we have identified the following areas for inclusion in our audit. So we have payroll, gross wages, and here we will select employees for payroll testing and then perform testing to ensure employee pay is valid and supported. We also have accounts receivable, utility billing, and permit billing. We have use of restricted funds, impact fees, cash receipting, timeliness and completeness of deposits, business and occupation taxes, and business licenses. And so we will select some transactions for testing and review to ensure all cash was deposited timely and all deposits are complete. We have accounts payable, electronic fund transfers. Here we will gain an understanding of the city's controls over electronic fund transfers. And then we have open public meetings and financial condition. And as always, we review the meeting minutes for the governing body and looking specifically for compliance with minutes, meetings, and executive session requirements. And then we also evaluate the city's financial condition, reviewing for indications of financial distress. At the conclusion of our audit, we will publish a report showing the results of our review, including the areas examined. While we have selected the areas shared with you today, please know that we also remain open to any suggestions or additional areas that the governing body or management would like us to consider. And with that, are there any questions about any of those areas? So an important part of the office is the continuous communication between our audit staff and yours. There are a number of ways that we strive to stay connected throughout the audit process, some of which we have included on the slide for you today. However, we would like to draw your attention to two of these methods designed to keep you updated throughout our audit and ultimately share our results with you. So the first method is the weekly status meetings. So one of our most important tools for keeping you up to date are weekly status meetings. As their name suggests, this is a recurring meeting with the audit liaison to provide you an overview of the audit. It's a great opportunity to discuss what has been completed, what is still in process or not yet started, and discuss any questions or concerns as they arise in the audit process. We also have the exit conference. So lastly, we are committed to ensuring you have the opportunity to hear directly from us on the results of your audit. We will work with management to schedule an exit conference meeting and invite all governing body members to attend our report. Please note that if a quorum of governing body members plans to attend, the city is responsible for ensuring the Open Public Meetings Act requirements are satisfied. Throughout the course of our audit, we may find recommendations that are necessary to bring to your attention. Our office has 3 primary levels of audit recommendations that we use to convey the significance of the audit issues identified. So first, audit findings constitute the most significant level of audit recommendation that can be issued. Audit findings are the only level of reporting included in entirety in our audit report. In addition, if a finding is issued, the city will be given the opportunity to provide a response to that finding that will also be published in our report. This is important to help readers not only understand the issue found, but also any information the city wishes to share on how the issue itself or its planned course of correction going forward. In addition, please note that certain external standards may require audit issues to be reported as audit findings. These standards are commonly encountered in the financial and federal audit engagements. Management letters are audit recommendations less significant than an audit finding, but still important enough to bring to the attention of the governing body and management in a formal letter. While management letters are not published in their entirety in our audit reports, they are referenced and still constitute a public document. In addition, it is important to address management letters as if they go unresolved, they could elevate in reporting level to an audit finding in future engagements. And then lastly, we have exit items, which constitute our lowest level of written recommendations. Exit items are very normal in the audit process and are often linked to housekeeping items, as they often address best practice items or minor non-compliance matters. We will provide a full list of exit items identified to management for their consideration at the end of our engagement. And then I'm going to pass it over to Paul to go over some important information.
Great. Thank you, Keisha. So just wanted to share a few reminders today about your audit. So confidential information. So we have a number of ways to assist in the safe handling of that information. Audit costs. So we shared an estimate of the audit costs in that entity agenda. The audit dispute process. So should there be any concerns in the audit process, we've established ways for you to voice those concerns. We always encourage you to start with your local audit manager, Lacey Carroll, but there are additional representatives' contact information available in that packet. And then loss reporting. So we always like to remind governments about loss reporting requirements. So should you become aware of any known or suspected loss of public funds, state law requires you to file a notification with our office. And I'm not going to go through all the additional resources that I know that we've already gone through a few times. So that was actually all that we had to present today. So we can open up for any questions or comments or anything else anyone would like to chat about.
I have a question really not related to the accountability audit, and you might not actually know the answer or be involved with that, but I was just kind of wondering about the cyber security audits, and nothing specific, but has the state auditor's office seen an uptick in those requests? Because that's a kind of a special audit that organizations can request, as far as I know. But I was in a bond rating agency meeting at the WFOA conference last week, and S&P for sure is going to be looking very closely at cybersecurity issues. So I'm wondering if there's a correlation between what state auditor's office might be seeing in terms of that and the S&P action in terms of what they're doing.
Yeah, so I don't have any specific information linking like what and basically the bond rating agencies are doing. I do know that S&P has gotten more involved in basically requesting our audit reports and making sure that basically the annual the EMA reporting deadlines are being met, and they have been in contact with our office like in the recent. I mean, it's been in the last 6 months have basically been making sure that we're making sure that the entities are meeting their bond reporting deadlines. And that's a newer thing, because ultimately we're not meeting your deadlines, you're meeting your deadlines. But they've been basically kind of working with our program managers, sort of like our fire district program managers, and our city program managers, making sure that all the entities are meeting. So I think they just are getting more active in looking at audits. As far as the cybersecurity side, I know the wait list is pretty long, but our cybersecurity team has grown pretty tremendously the last couple of years. I think when when the initial, because it's funded via sales tax piece, and so I think it's funded via sales tax as well as some revenue, some basic general fund revenue from the state. And so we continue to advocate for more funds. So our cybersecurity team has grown pretty large the last couple of years to take on those additional requests because they're free. I mean, our cybersecurity audits are free to local governments. So I think it's kind of the combination of things. It's S&P and the other bond rating agencies kind of getting more involved, making sure that audits are occurring. Because there were a lot of smaller entities that don't receive regular financial statement audits. And so I think they had some concerns about that, which makes sense. And then obviously all the additional cybersecurity risks that exist. But yeah, I know that our cybersecurity team, when I first started with our agency, I think there was maybe one or two cybersecurity auditors, and I think our team is now 10 to 15 members. I mean, it's a large team now. So the demand for it is huge. I know that for sure. So that's kind of all. It's basically just information that I've gathered, but I don't have any specific information. So
No, I appreciate that. I think what I heard is Lacey will not be able to request a cybersecurity audit before December and have that complete because we're gonna be going for our bond rating later this year. So
yeah, I know the wait list used to be 2 years long. I don't know what it is now, but that was when our cybersecurity team was pretty small, when there was 4 cybersecurity auditors. But I don't know what the wait list is now. Have you requested to be put on the list?
No, I was actually caught off guard, I guess, last week when S&P was talking about their new rating analysis parameters and saw cybersecurity there and thought, oh, okay, that's new. And I mean, I think Lacey does a great job, but there's nothing to really verify that other than, us having kind of the, 5 different approaches to cybersecurity. So I thought, well, the voluntary audit would be a way to really kind of verify that, and especially where we stand within a state or how we compare with other cities.
Yeah, I would. I mean, I do know that there's other external agencies that can perform cybersecurity audits. I have no idea how that works or what the waitlist is for those. But you can definitely reach out to our cybersecurity office via our website. I think we have contact information in that entrance agenda as well for the cybersecurity team. And you can get on the list. And they'll let you know, what the kind of time frame of when they can get in cybersecurity, and then it's really similar to, I mean, it's a true audit. It follows audit standards, so they'll plan out, they'll identify risks, and then they'll do all sorts of basically technology type audit things. But yeah, I would recommend getting on the list, even if they can't even get you in for a little while. At least it kind of puts you in the place to get it done. But yeah, I think that makes total sense that the bond reporting agencies are now kind of using it as a analysis. I wouldn't be surprised if insurance agencies start doing it as well, because I mean, you're a part of the risk pool, so you're aware of all the cities who are experience a lot of losses related to basically EFT and ACH frauds, which are they are related to cybersecurity, but it's more like phishing attempts and social engineering stuff. But that all falls under ultimately information technology and kind of that sort of stuff. But yeah, I recommend trying to get on the list, and then that it's definitely something that we all know that it's here, and we now have to implement controls and procedures in place to cover it. So.
Sure. No, I appreciate that. And I appreciate your work to get us timely audits and get that completed for all of our requirements. I was, again, at the conference, pretty surprised to hear some cities had their bond ratings withdrawn because of late financial statement submittals and audits.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that was just shocking for me that that could even happen, and certainly understand our role and our responsibility in letting you know when we need these things done. So certainly appreciate you accommodating us.
Great question. Really appreciate it. I know WFOA, there's always like new topics that come out of WFOA. So
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to go because you don't want to hear something new, and you don't want to hear something that you might not be doing.
yeah, like don't tell me that. I don't want to implement this new thing that I didn't know I needed to be concerned about. Yeah. So
Yeah. Okay. No, thanks again, Paul.
yep. Anything else? Great. All right. Well, I know that Keisha is very well underway for this audit. So we'll definitely be in touch to schedule the exit conference. And I know Keisha's working really closely with Chelsea and Christy. So again, appreciate everyone's time today. And we will all be in touch. So thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank
Bye.
you.